In this video, we're forecasting a widespread and especially dangerous severe weather outbreak. The Storm Prediction Center has put out a rare high-risk outlook which includes nearly 1.5 million people. And the state of Alabama has already issued a state of emergency ahead of what could be a very long day. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has also already issued a moderate risk for severe weather tomorrow in the southeast. But today, we're only going to talk about that high risk in the deep south. I personally believe that at this point it's going to be better to take this one day at a time because today is going to be a very bad day. There's no reason to sugarcoat it. The risk of loss of life and property is as high as it gets today, and I'm going to do everything that I can to get the warning out ahead of time. Once again, I will be going live around 3 p.m. Eastern today to cover this event, and I won't stop until the threat is over. This could be a 12-hour or longer live stream, so make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you set a reminder. Make sure you are subscribed with notifications on, and when that live stream starts, share it with everyone you know, especially if you know anybody in that area. Now, let's start talking about the weather. All right, here's a big old look at the United States of America, and we are already starting off super active early this morning as we already have 2 severe thunderstorm watches in effect for areas of Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma, and Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Look at this. We actually have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now as I'm recording this video, with the risk for some straight line damaging winds and some large hail, and this line of dangerous thunderstorms extends all the way down close to Waco, Texas, and Buffalo down here, as just this really dynamic system is wrapping up. As you can see, we have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings out here in Arkansas, and once again another severe thunderstorm watch south of Kansas City there. All this is going to move east and northeast as we go forward, and by the time this video goes up, some of these storms will be affecting Memphis, possibly around St. Louis, and Shreveport and Texarkana here. Basically, everybody in the south needs to be on high alert today. Also, something interesting on the backside here near Amarillo, we're talking about heavy snow, and a blizzard warning is in effect over there. That's right, you heard me right, a blizzard warning for parts of Texas right now, while the other part of Texas is under a severe thunderstorm watch with potential for tornadoes later. It's a wild day in the weather world, and let's see how the future is going to play out on the weather models. All right, here's the high resolution rapid refresh model, the 6Z data, and I'm going to be staying locked in on the Dixie Alley down here, the deep south, because this is the area that we need to watch, okay? The first thing that we're going to go through is the timing. What you're looking at right now is what the radar could look like as we go through later on into today. If you want to keep up with the time, it's right there above my head, constantly displayed. Now, let's get into this and let's break this down. As you can see, around 9 a.m., around the time this video goes up, those storms are going to be entering the Memphis area, okay? And we're also going to have a little area of convection that goes all the way down into Alabama here. This is associated with a warm front that's out in front of our main storm system. And as this lifts north, a giant warm sector is going to form here in southern Mississippi, Louisiana, southwestern Alabama. And that's where that instability is really going to start ramping up, and that's what's going to allow for our possibly major tornado outbreak later today. But watch this, as I push this forward, that warm front lifts to the north, and once again, all these storms right here, even though this is not going to be the main event today, in northeastern Arkansas, in southeastern Missouri, western Kentucky, western and central Tennessee, you need to be watching out for these storms because they could definitely be severe, and there is a small tornado threat with these storms, especially on the southern side. If one of these gets a good amount of inflow and interacts with the shear in the upper levels of the atmosphere, it could definitely rotate and become a supercell thunderstorm and drop some big hail and damaging winds, if not a tornado. So watch out for this warm front. It's going to be moving through around noon today, and that's going to lift off to the north very quickly. And when it does that, it's going to allow for, once again, a warm sector to form here where the western side is going to be untouched, and it's just going to rapidly destabilize. And the eastern side, it looks like to me, some supercell thunderstorms are going to pop up. Now, the earlier these start popping up, the better. Yesterday's models were showing that maybe some of these storms wouldn't start popping up until 3 p.m. The longer they wait to pop up, the more instability there will be there in the atmosphere. So if these do start popping up around 1 o'clock, what could happen is that a bunch of really strong storms form up, and they kind of cluster together, and they stabilize the atmosphere before the big line of storms come in, right? That's a best case scenario. Now, a worst case scenario is that these storms do pop up, and they kind of group together into large supercell clusters, and we have a big tornado outbreak out in front of the big dry line that's coming in. So, you know, either one of those possibilities are out there, let's go ahead and prepare for the worst and assume that all of these storms that are popping up here around 2 p.m. today in southern Mississippi and western Alabama are going to be rotating supercells capable of producing violent long-track tornadoes. So as you can see here already at 2 p.m. today, we could be dealing with a particularly dangerous situation as multiple supercell thunderstorms are forming near the Birmingham region, near the Jackson, Mississippi region, all the way down as far south as into the southern portion of Mississippi here, and they're all going northeast, so they'll all kind of train over the same areas as that warm front lifts to the north. Now let's put that into motion, and you can kind of see here the sheared environment that these storms are in. You can kind of see the little curvature of these storms on the HRRR. That's scary, okay? You know, I always say that this is kind of like a simulated radar, what we're looking at here, but it's really not. It's much lower resolution than an actual radar, but the fact that it's picking up on the possibility of these storms rotating up here at 4 p.m. today is just absolutely mind-blowing, and it's concerning. So we got to watch out for those. We also have to watch out for this cluster of storms that could form up around 4 p.m. That's another round of possibly rotating and dangerous severe thunderstorms. And then the main event really starts late tonight, 8 p.m. This big dry line moves in. A cold front with some cold air advection behind it is going to push together all of that instability that we had earlier today and really ramp up a severe weather threat here in Mississippi. Okay, I think this is what the Storm Prediction Center is looking at when they issued that high risk for severe weather. They're thinking that this right here is going to be the main event with nocturnal violent tornadoes, as this big area of storms is going to be working over an extremely dangerous environment for tornadoes during the nighttime hours, and then that does carry on into Alabama. Look at here, we're at midnight tonight, and we could be talking about this strong line of severe thunderstorms moving through Birmingham all the way down into the Mobile area, and then all the way as far north as, you know, just to the east of Nashville there. And still at this point, we're still talking about possibly looking at supercell thunderstorms out in front of the main line here. And we're going to push this forward even more, and we're still dealing with, you know, possibly destructive, dangerous storms at 3 a.m. tonight in central Alabama. And really the threat doesn't subside until maybe 7 a.m. in the morning as these storms work into a more stable environment as they get into central Georgia. All night tonight, the possibility is there for multiple violent, dangerous tornadoes. Let's take a look at why this is happening with some of those severe weather parameters. Let's start off with surface temperatures. It's going to be a warm day over here in Mississippi. Look at this. High temperatures could reach as high as 85 degrees in Mississippi and Arkansas, and we've just got this big warm sector of temperatures above 70 degrees all the way through here. That's one of the things that's really going to help the instability really start to take off there in Mississippi. And thankfully, you know, if we do get that first area of large clusters of storms that form up, it's actually going to drop the temperatures and, you know, sort of stabilize the atmosphere a little bit before our main system comes in. So, you know, if these first rounds of severe thunderstorms don't produce a violent tornado outbreak, then that is a good news, because that's drastically going to decrease the chance that this line that's coming in will do that. So let's keep thinking about that, and let's keep hoping for that. Now let's take a look at the CAPE. This is convective available potential energy. And the way to think about this is like fuel, right? Thunderstorms have to have fuel, and just like a car, whenever they run out of fuel, they stop. This is the fuel that's available in the atmosphere for thunderstorms to form, and there's a lot of it. Here we are around 5 p.m. today. We're close to 3,000 joules per kilogram of CAPE out here in Mississippi, and these storms are really going to feed off of that and carry that energy with them to the north and to the east. And the more energy that's here, the bigger those storms will be and the longer that they can last. You know, 3,000 joules per kilogram of convective available potential energy out there in the middle of March is just off the charts. So I'm trying to look for best case scenarios here, but this map, there's not a lot of, it just looks bad. I don't know what else to say. And then of course we have to look at that significant tornado parameter. This is a composite model that puts together all of the different elements in the atmosphere that it takes to create a significant tornado, and then rates on a scale of 1 to 10 how likely it is for a significant tornado to form in a given area. And look, we're at an 11. An 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. We're at an 11 in Mississippi here. We're close to 10 through much of Mississippi. Also, we've got lots of 6s and 7s popping up here in Tennessee, Arkansas, all the way through Alabama here. So the significant tornado parameter is off the charts. And look at this, it carries all the way through the night. And then, like I said, you know, once we get these storms into Georgia, it does look like that is going to diminish a little bit. Another Another scary image to look at is the 0 to 6 kilometer shear. There's just a lot of shear in the atmosphere available for these storms to work with. So any storm that pops up, any supercell thunderstorm that pops up is going to rotate enough to produce a tornado. There's absolutely no way that it doesn't, because we just got just such a favorable environment for tornadoes. So once again, if we get those supercells out by themselves, especially discrete supercells, we're going to be talking about, you know, big tornadoes with those, and that's unfortunate. Now let's run through this fast mode just so you can see your area. I know I was zoomed in there on a small area for the majority of the time. As you can see, these strong storms are going to affect not only the deep south down here, but we're also going to see them in Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, working into central and eastern Kentucky. And, you know, these won't be devastating. These won't be life-threatening. These will just be, you know, your garden variety, strong thunderstorms. Definitely looking to see some severe thunderstorm warnings up here today, but it's not anything like we're dealing with down here in Alabama. And then, yes, do watch this. That's with that moderate risk for tomorrow. The possibility for severe weather and tornadoes does exist down here in the Carolinas and eastern Georgia tomorrow. And then we get that snow working into New England. That's right, heavy snow possible for Pennsylvania, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts on Friday at 2 a.m. So once again, just a really dynamic storm system, and it'll be interesting to see how all this plays out. That's all the weather talk I have for you today. I hope I explained everything clearly. Obviously, there will be a lot of new information coming in tonight while I'm doing the live stream. So if you want to hear more about this, make sure you tune in for that, okay, guys? And if you do tune in for the stream tonight, get ready to hear this a lot, because I set it up to anytime the National Weather Service issues a tornado warning, this happens. So get ready with me, guys. It's going to be an interesting day, and it's going to be a long day. And I'll see you on the live stream. Goodbye.